The science of consciousness is possible as long as by the science of consciousness we understand self-enquiry. That's what self-enquiry is, the science of consciousness. Mm-hmm. But this, what is now considered by science the science of consciousness is not real science of consciousness.
Okay, so some people are studying the nature of consciousness through science. For example, there is a Heart Math Institute which studies the vibration of the heart, and
that's nothing to do with the science of consciousness.
And what about, for example, studying the studies of, for example, Rupert on behavior of rats and telepathy?
It's nothing to do with the science of consciousness.
Can you explain that? Why is that so?
Because the science of consciousness, like the science of everything, of anything, is the exploration of that thing. So the science of consciousness would be the exploration of consciousness. Now, what is it that would explore consciousness?
Consciousness.
That's it. So consciousness is exploration of consciousness. That's awareness. That's being aware of being aware. Awareness of awareness. That's self-enquiry. But that experience, consciousness is exploration of consciousness, doesn't go through the mind. It's John Smith's exploration of being John Smith. It's got nothing to do with King Lear. Not only that, is in the form of King Lear, John Smith cannot study being John Smith. So all those examples you're giving, that's John Smith in the form of King Lear, studying some objective phenomena. But in the form of King Lear, John Smith cannot study being himself. He needs to become King Lear in order to study Cordelia. But in order to know himself, he doesn't need to assume the role of King Lear. In fact, in the form of King Lear, he can't know himself. So the study of consciousness does not take place through the mind. Nothing we study with the mind can be the study of consciousness. It's the study of objective phenomena. So all these examples you give, they're the study of the behavior of rats and brain waves and all those studies are studies of objective phenomena. They tell us nothing about consciousness, nor can they tell us about consciousness, because anything that is known by the mind shares the limitations of the mind through which it is known. If you look at, you cannot see white snow through orange-tinted glasses. Why? Because the snow that you see shares the limitations of the medium through which you see it. The white snow will appear orange because of the tint of your glasses. Anything that is studied through the mind will appear orange. That is, will share the limitations of the mind through which it is known. So you can study objective phenomena through the mind, because the mind knows objective phenomena. But you cannot, consciousness cannot study itself, or cannot know itself through the mind, because the mind can only know something limited. John Smith cannot study himself through King Lear, because everything that King Lear knows is subject to the limitations of King Lear's character. So, no, the science of consciousness is very, very simple. It is just being aware of being aware. That's it. That's all there is to the study of consciousness. Being aware of being aware.
Can I give another example?
Yeah.
So, I see science as, when we study consciousness through science, I see science as a mirror, in the sense that consciousness looking at self through the mirror. In the sense, for example, if we talk about quantum physics, and there is a quantum double slit experiment which shows that the outcome of the experiment is dependent upon consciousness, and due to that we know that consciousness is affecting matter. We are actually also self-enquiring by looking at objects. So these objects that are telling us about ourselves are like a mirror.
No, objects cannot tell us anything about ourselves. Objects can only tell us something about the nature of the subject that perceives them. A limited object can only tell us something about the limited subject which perceives it.
I get it now, yeah. I get what you're saying.
The orange snow tells us about the orange glasses. Any study of objective phenomena tells us about the subject that knows it, the limited subject that knows it. Or I should say, the limited subject through which it is known. Ultimately, it is known by consciousness. But consciousness knows objective experience through the faculties of the finite mind. And as a result of that, everything that is known through the finite mind shares the limitations of that mind. So that objective phenomena can only tell us about the limited mind through which it is known. When we look, for instance, when we look out at objective phenomena now, objective phenomena seem to appear in time and space. Time and space don't tell us anything about the nature of consciousness. They tell us that a human mind is constructed in 4 dimensions, 1 dimension of thinking and 3 dimensions of perceiving. So the time and space that we see out in the world are just correlations of the thinking and perceiving faculties of a human mind through which consciousness perceives and knows. So there's a direct correlation between time and space and a human mind, thinking and perceiving. But that tells us nothing about the dimensionless nature of consciousness.
Yes, it makes sense, because now I understand that it can only tell to the limitation of the mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that is why science, at least as it is practiced now, which is a practice of thinking and perceiving, cannot, in its current form, science cannot know the nature of consciousness. That doesn't mean to say that science in the future will not expand its remit and permit this one unique type of knowledge, namely consciousness' knowledge of itself, which doesn't go through the finite mind. If science were to expand and consider consciousness' knowledge of itself valid knowledge, then there would be a science of consciousness.
Yes. Thank you.